Hello everyone and welcome to the Newbie Lessons. We are talking about Lightbinder here as we're going over the classes. The Lightbinder is your basically unlocked support class, and just because it's a basic class it doesn't mean it's a bad class. It's even a pretty good class, and it's a class that you will see or play often in raids or groups. Well, let's say if you want to do it efficiently you will do it or see it. Let's go over the abilities. You need to know for supports there are three kinds of ways they are supporting your group outside of protection. That would be a might buff, so they increase the might of the recipient, or they are boosting the damage of the recipient of their buffs, or they are applying a debuff on the target so it takes more damage. These are the three ways they are able to support the damage of the group, and that's their main role. Despite the meta from other games where supports are there for healing or stat boosting, like more crit or whatever, here it is simply just improving the team's damage and give protection to those that need it with some emergency tools. So let's go over the buffing abilities Lightbinder has to offer, and for example that would be the left click. With left click and the targeting of a friendly target, you will apply a buff on them. This buff stacks up to 3 times, and every time they attack or land a hit with the ability, they remove 1 stack of your buff here and apply bonus damage. But it isn't the greatest thing you can offer. The greatest thing you can offer, for example, is right click. You can either shortly tap it to put on a sphere that makes a big boom on the ground and removes negative effects on your teammates. Also, you can hold your right mouse button and apply 40% of your might to a friendly target you are tunneling at and a few others that are standing close to it. So, the other stuff you can use is Blessing of the Sun. That is the ability that straight out improves the damage of the receiving members of your group by 35%. And the last one is the Incarnation of Light. This is your ultimate. It works that way that you change the form into the Incarnation of Light form, and there you give your team an area when they are inside it. They gain 50% more damage and take 35% less damage. Important to know there is, if you apply this, you can't actually use your right mouse button because you change in the Incarnation of Light, and in the Incarnation of Light you have 3 abilities. One is damaging attack, one is damaging AoE attack, and the other stuff is ending the Incarnation of Light and apply a shield to friends around you. But the problem here is if you end the light form that you took by starting your ultimate, you will actually also remove the bonuses it gives. We will see that in practice in a few seconds. So let's check it out. For the left click, it is targeting a friendly target. You're left clicking and you're applying a stack. This stack is what I told you that can be used by your ally by attacking, and every hit removes 1 stack. If you have the problem that you see a negative effect on your ally, you can just do that. It makes a boom and he's cleansed from negative effects. The next stuff is holding the right mouse button holding the right mouse button will transfer 40% of your might to the ally. As you're doing that, you see he gains higher HP and also has higher damage because he has now 40% of might applied to him. An important thing about that is, if you are applying this buff and you are trying to reapply it shortly after, it won't work, because we will see this. When I now channel this, all goes fine, he has his might transferred, but now you will see when it ends, there is a sad man in a triangle. As long as this debuff is running, that is counting down now, you can't reapply it. We will check it out now. As we do this, we break it, he gains a debuff, and if I now try to reapply it, nothing changes. His HP don't go up, and his might also not. And this is because the tiredness effect. The tiredness effect makes it that you can't apply might buffs constantly, so you need to be aware of that and time your abilities correctly. The other stuff, like we've spoken about, is you can press your 3, the Blessing of Sun, and there will be glowing weapons on your allies, and now they deal 35% more damage to every enemy. So for a normal combo, when you're playing with a Lightbinder, or if you are seeing that a Lightbinder applies buff, it would normally go like you are pressing 3 for the Blessing of the Sun, and after that the Lightbinder will channel on a close ally to spread his might through the group and improve their damage. It would be looking like that. Now he deals 35% more damage, and this is further amplified because he has 40% more might. Or better, he has 40% more of my might. So, this is how the buffs work. The only other combo you will do is with your ultimate, and with your ultimate, like I said, you can do the right click to channel might through you, and this will be mostly used either to burst a target down without a might buff, or there will be an alchemist in the group that actually applies his might buff and you are just boosting the team's damage. And this will look like that. You are going close to the damage dealers, you are pressing 3 and you're pressing R, and now they have 85% increased damage. If this gets further amplified by the buffs that are put out through the alchemists, the bursting power is really significant. So, as you can see now, the ally has a big debuff. The big debuff goes for the same duration as your ultimate has cooldown, and this is meant for if you now change the Lightbinders and the other Lightbinder still has his ultimate off cooldown and he uses it, everyone that has this green debuff applied to them don't benefit from the bonuses the ultimate gives. So this is totally burst combo where you actually just need this damage to burst down the boss and have a huge cooldown afterwards. So use it carefully. For using the buffs efficiently in a group, as you are the damage dealer, you just need to watch out if you have a Cable Lightbinder around you. He will probably buff at the start of the fight, and then you should use your heavy hitters like your Ultimate or Revenant or your Whiteout for Cryo, etc. to actually benefit from the increased damage stats you get. If you are the Lightbinder yourself and you are not confident in starting the fight with just giving out the buffs straight ahead, you can also just wait for Revenants to actually pop the ultimates for trials to start the first hitting, etc. and then just do your 3 and right click it's not as efficient as if you would start, but sometimes it's needed to wait for the big hitters to be ready. The best is, of course, if you are just communicating with your team and make it clear when the buffs should be applied. So speak about cooldowns, etc. So other abilities from the Lightbinder we will go through now, because they are not that significant, or let's say they are not that significantly used often. The first thing is, the one is just a damaging ability and won't be used at all in the PvE aspect when you use it as a support. And we don't go over damage dealing Lightbinder here, we are just going about support. And that brings us to the second skill, and that's a shield. It's a percentage of the HP of the Lightbinder itself, and it can be applied to allies or Lightbinder itself. It has a double amount when it's applied to an ally, and well, this skill should not be used frequently. It should be used only if there is a danger or something to a certain member of your group. So if your tank falls dangerously below, let's say 20% HP, yeah, of course, you can shield him, but don't shield him when he's at full HP. It's totally pointless, because the most times the tanks have mechanics that actually make them survive the hits, or regain HP, or shield themselves, and if you disrupt the order of the skills, it can go pretty bad. Also, even if your tank should take some serious damage, like 50% or something, the shield isn't necessarily straight up about him, because if there is a mechanic on the boss that maybe deals AoE damage and one of your members gets a really nasty hit or something from an ability, and you need his damage or the buffs from the alchemist or whatever, you can actually just shield the enemy, the ally that is in need, and not just wildly give it out to whom you think you should do. The other thing is, if it's called in a raid and they say, okay, here we go, here, shield this target, okay, then you do it, but besides that, try to use it as an emergency tool. The same goes for emergency tool is if you're using your C. Your C is a buff that is applied in front of you in circling area, cyclone area, and it will make you and the ally invulnerable for a short amount of time. But it has a hefty cooldown from 2 to 3 minutes, so it's only use it if you really need to negate some damage that is coming for your group and is unavoidable and would otherwise be fatal. So, the last ability that is actually useful for us here is Rise and Shine, and that's a reanimation skill. You can reanimate ally in mid-fight with it. It takes a certain amount of time to channel it, and if you get killed or stunned or whatever between it will abort. The main thing here is to know that it's just a shared cooldown between all your group. That means it has a 10-minute cooldown, and no other Lightbinder in your team, even if they didn't do it before and just changed to the class, they can't rest anyone for 10 minutes when you did it. So be careful with that, and just use it if you really need to survive that member, or if your team calls for it. Okay, that's pretty much it. I hope you could take something out of this, and I wish you a nice day. See ya.